Same with the great Ashoka, Emperor Ashoka also. So yes, that's for sure. It will reduce, it will subdue, it will minimize and decrease the weight of the karma. But nevertheless, doesn't mean that it will totally erase. That's not true at all. You can never erase. To a point where you can, if one has great accumulation, then one can probably even transform it, but never erase it. Like for example, when the Maras fired arrows at Buddha, yes, at the time of his enlightenment, they transformed into flowers, yes, like that, you know.
Transformed, you mean that with our development we deal with the situation better?
Yes, like now we will be able to deal with it better, or actually what we thought was an obstacle, what we feared all this while as an obstacle, would one day would be a blessing in disguise, let's say. You know, like that. Yeah.
Your Holiness,
yes.
There are many deities in Tibetan Buddhism. How do we know which one is our Yidam?
Very good question. Actually, in Tibet, it's not that many. It all came from here.
Like I have equal affinity for Chandrezi,
Yes.
Tara, Manjushri, but which one is my Yidam? That's what I want to know.
Yes, of course. It is said that it depends on one's karmic connection also. Yes, one. If not, then it'll depend on your spiritual guides. Yeah. Those are the two ways to somehow find out. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, it's not as simple as describing in few words, actually, but something somewhat close to that. One main important point to know is that although they appear different, they have different names, they have different activities. One thing that we have to, within the Buddhist context, is that we have to consider the essence as inseparable, same. No matter how many a deity there is or there are, that they are all in terms of essence. There's no difference. And most importantly, not to force oneself or give in to seeing these what we call wisdom aspect or yidams or deities as like a person, like not in that sense. It didn't come out right. As permanent phenomena, let's say. Yeah. Probably that's one way of putting it. Then, if you're able to somehow take care of those areas, then according to our own habit, according to one's own mood or motivation, then somehow we will have, I think, some kind of positive experience where we come across the right idam. Yeah. I don't know, could be the practice, could be the appearance, could be the method, anything. Yeah. So it's a sign of one's karmic connection with the deity. Sometimes then we feel that we don't particularly feel anything special with any, and at that time then we are often, I think, we ask the teacher or the spiritual guide to appoint one for us. Yeah. But I think by default, I think it's always the Vajrasattva. We begin from there. Yeah. In Tibet we have a lot of local deities, but otherwise the rest came from here, actually. We invited them over there, and now we brought it back. Yes.
The previous question, the previous 2 weeks ago, the question answer session.
Yeah.
It's about
Louder. Speak up, please.
Okay, the question was about what is the difference between
What is the difference
between a perfectly workable family,
Yes.
Mahayana
Yeah.
family, and what is the difference between perfectly workable family and calm abiding family?
Yes. That one. Okay, you got the book now. Good. Careful. Which page is it?
First chapter.
First chapter?
At the end.
Okay. Yes. We are talking about the kind, I think. Yeah, kind.
Pardon?
Kind. When you said family, but I think it's kind, right? Rik.
In English translation,
Yeah.
it's very many as a family.
Okay.
That's why I learned what was in English one.
So out of the 5, right?
Yeah, there is one. Cut off. I don't know in Tibetan.
Out of the 5, so which one?
The
Where?
last one is the superior one, Mahayana.
Yes.
And Mahayana, they have 2 subdivisions. Calm abiding.
Okay. Okay. And then, so now the question is?
What is the difference and what exactly is this? The difference will come up after the explanation what exactly they are.
Yes, it is sort of categorized in this way as kinds or families, yes. Family. I actually prefer the term kind. But But I think the point is in here is that, like I said before, it's an individual thing, yes? So similar, yeah. Some of us, maybe for over counters of lifetimes, many lifetimes, that we are somehow more comfortable with following a bodhisattva path. And again, similarly, for some, it may be not that comfortable. Maybe others are more comfortable, you know. But so basically, it is as simple as that. Nothing more. Now, I will try to assume why you asked the question. So, then in that case, one thing that we have to know is that this term, family or kind, is only referred exactly in the context, which I just described right now. For over a long period of time, you have developed a habit, nothing more. Yeah, it's not like some are meant to be painters forever, and some are meant to be cooks forever, and a cook can never paint, like that. It's never like that. Yeah, it's just if you have been cooking for a long, long time, you somehow feel inspired by that, motivated by that. If you look at a farm, you'll start to see that farm in a very different way. Yes, you'll say, okay, I can cook that, I can cook this. Whereas if you're a painter, you will not look at that way. You will look at okay, that shade, that light, that perspective, and everything. So, yeah. So if I'm correct about your question, that's one point. Yeah. Because one risk is that if you don't understand that, I think then there's a risk that somehow to be able to see it as a sort of different species, different species or different race or something like that. No, it's just a matter of time, a matter of habits. Yeah. So. Yes.
Are there any Dharma elements in our daily activity?
Are there any Dharma element in our daily activity?
Yeah, are there any lessons, Dharma lessons in our normal life?
In our normal life? Well, I think within every center, within every temple or monasteries or places like that, I think, particularly of course in monasteries, and there is always supposed to be a lot of activities like that. Yes, but otherwise, I think maybe in certain parts or certain centers, maybe time-wise, management-wise, maybe it's very, very difficult, to do that. But otherwise, I think everyone tries their best to find time for it, But of course, there's great benefit in doing that. But because it's a group thing, yes, you are doing something, engaging into a spiritual activity together. It's very, very beneficial. But in case if one lacks from all of that, then at least yourself, to divide some time for yourself to dedicate into practice. I think it's very important. Yeah. If you feel that there's a lack, yes. Yeah. Well, not many page finished, huh?
No.
Very good. Well, okay.
About obstacles.
Yes.
From one side, one says that obstacle can be like adventure, which help us to develop ourselves, yes? And from the other side, for example, in Guru meditation, we have this kind of prayer to Brahma to remove all obstacles.
Okay.
Is there any contradiction?
Normally not, but could you tell me again?
Because from one hand, if we treat our obstacles like adventure, yeah, so
Yes.
we don't have any fear,
Yeah.
and it's okay. For me, it seems reasonable. But from the other side, in meditation text, we have this prayer, Lama, please remove all obstacles.
Yes.
So what kind of obstacles is removing them? How to understand it?
I think we're quite desperate. It has been wrong with some purpose, huh? No, I think it's like being. No, there's no contradiction at all. No. Contradiction, no. It's just a sort of expression. It's somehow expressing that, not to say desperateness, but somehow being a little bit greedy, maybe, which is good in this case. Yes, doing what one can by oneself or by yourself. But at the same time, if I have good karma, good bond, or good connection, then also remove also the obstacles or whatever obstacles that I at the moment that I cannot remove by myself. Then please give support to also to remove that. But whatever I can challenge, I will challenge myself. But whatever I cannot, then to somehow either reduce it or remove it in any way. So I'm sorry. Yeah.
2 days ago, I read about parameters.
Okay.
And this was information about we should develop our meditation, we develop our concentration.
Yes.
But without concentration, we can't develop like natural wisdom in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
And can you a little bit explain about how this concentration help to develop wisdom? And may I, if it's possible, give to you like promise that we meditate every day?
Very good. Thank you. Yeah, we call it wisdom, but I think in other words, or many it's actually knowledge. Yeah. So in order to gain knowledge, it is crucial that we need concentration. Without it, then how? Yes, how? How can we absorb any knowledge? Impossible. Yeah. And now, when we use that knowledge to, you use it as a tool to then or in this case, to see obstacles as challenges and positive circumstances, then we are using this knowledge as a tool, and that's when we call it a wisdom, I think. Yeah. But otherwise, in order to gain this tool called wisdom, initially we need this. We need definitely a lot of concentration. I think we are all doing your very best to study, to learn, to practice, to meditate. I admire. But what I've heard is that from the veterans, let's say, is that when you actually study, it's not just to spend hours and hours just reading things and writing things down, but actually prior to it, you have to get into a phase of meditation, actually. Yeah, kind of. You begin with maybe a little bit of practice. You make the study itself a practice, you know. That you engage in either you ask for, you pay homage to either Manjushri or Saraswati or something like that, and generate, just like a practice. Take refuge, generate the four immeasurables, bodhicitta and so on, and then to really sort of put yourself in a particular state, and then concentrate and not let anything disturb. Then you can absorb wisdom, or then you can achieve wisdom or knowledge or anything. Yeah. So
Develop very natural concentration.
one could say, in this case, yes. But the thing is, we have to be a little bit strict in this case, yes. Strict in terms of you really have to make that time for yourself. Yeah. If you do that, then you're able to really learn that much quicker and much faster. Yeah. So just like now the meal is rung, the bell is rung, yes. Now if you put that into the context, like now you must go quickly. If you don't, the food will get cold, yes. And even if you reach there in time, you must eat it according to its sort of rule or law in a way. Otherwise, if you eat bits and pieces and just do something else, and then again you come back to eat, yes, you will get the proportion right, but nevertheless, by then again the food might be cold, or food might have turned into something else, So basically, like you have to make time for whatever you will do properly. Yeah, properly. 3 things: beginning, middle, end. Yeah, must have it. Otherwise, it's just a wasted time. Yeah. So therefore, now have a meaningful dinner, my dear students. May it benefit your precious human body.